So Kevin, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
Here. Yeah. So you gave a great program earlier at our Ideas Collide showcase, a bit about association healthcare plans in the future and all those things. It's been a lot of fun to work with you guys on developing this program for our association members. Our girls here in the booth, every member who walks in or potential member who walks in, they've been talking with them about this idea of benefits and healthcare and 401k.
Yeah, they've been great.
Their eyes just open up so wide, with this, when you start to talk about what these opportunities can be. Can you just elaborate a little bit on what association healthcare plans are?
Sure. Well, I think first off is when you talk about their lights, their eyes lighting up like that, is that small businesses haven't been able to afford healthcare for a really long time. I mean, you look at it, and your own stats have shown that we've done is that over 40% of small businesses don't insure for their employees and provide employee benefits because it's just unaffordable, or it's confusing, or they can't find the right network, and so everyone goes out on their own.
Right.
It's kind of similar to the woman we just talked to a little while ago, is that she went back to work so that her husband could have the ownership of the shop and she could get health care. But she can actually be there helping him as well.
Yeah.
So it's pretty standard that's happening. The reason they haven't is, and that's the beauty of an association health plan, is that with the new DOL rules, you can now band together as small businesses. You weren't allowed to before, so so they were left out. And now that they can do data integration and use big data to look at a big population, you look the size of a Delta Airlines, or you look the size of UPS, and you can go in and negotiate with them. That's why it'll bring it a lot less expensive.
So you have the association healthcare plans, and there's been those recent changes, but association healthcare plans aren't new, right?
Oh no, they've been around for almost I think it's over 30 years.
Yep.
And they've been used in various ways, which is that one of the things that we also see is that they get bad rap every once in a while from press, et cetera, and it's because they have been around for so long, and some people have done some negative things with it, especially in the self-insured side, where they weren't properly funded, they didn't go through the right mechanisms, and and they failed.
Yep.
That's the difference about what we do, is we do fully insured plans so that it's not members paying in some type of membership fee that's based upon losses ultimately. It's a whole different ballgame now out there.
Yeah.
And so, I understand the anxiety associated to it, but the reality is it's different today.
So we've been, since kind of announcing that we're going out on in launching and building one of these programs, we've certainly done a fair amount of interviews with the press, and that's one of those questions that we get asked a lot. If we're purely looking at reducing down costs and watering down programs, and I think that was one of the things that in our initial conversations between SCRS and Decisely that really impressed all of us, was that you guys had an equal vision or a similar vision to ours, that you could get better coverage and really high quality options that didn't have to be watered down, and use the size and scope to leverage price, not compromise on what you're delivering to the membership.
That's correct. And we also make sure that we think about different product offerings too, because the reality is you may have a 4-shop owner that has 4 employees, and he's not ready to even join the fully insured side. He wants to say, I just want to give $1,500 to everyone. I'm going to create an HRA and allow them to go out and buy what they need to be, because I just don't want to be hassled with it, but I want to give.
Yeah.
We can set up those too. We've got various things.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things that's interesting to me. Is so even so you have a high population of folks who offer nothing today. You have another population of folks who do offer things, but who have, at least in our preliminary research with you, have certainly told us, if it were more affordable, I would offer a lot more. I would do more in that area, right? And I think so. So finding technician shortage is certainly something that our industry talks a lot about, right? How do you bring in a younger demographic to fill some of those highly technical skill sets that we need in our industry in an aging population, right? And so I think becoming more attractive to them as employers and giving small businesses a way to compete with those large corporations is really important for our members.
It's right. I mean, what you bring up is that when you look at someone who goes into a plan, is that you do have 2 different ones. Either they've never offered benefits, or they're already offering it. When they're already offering, the beauty about it is that usually when they see the savings, they don't pocket it for profitability.
Right.
They usually look at it and say, how much do I also want to give back to the employees? And so they'll either raise it up so they pay more of their premium as the employer, or they'll expand to dental or vision or short-term disability, so there's more of a benefit offering. They don't just take it.
Yep.
That's the beauty of that. And then the other part of it, that when they're not offering it before, it's just an excitement. And to say, now I actually have something that can potentially
most definitely
retain these employees.
Yeah, and so for the ones who, you mentioned this, expanding into the other benefits, it's one of the things, so offering the healthcare portion is critical. I mean, honestly, for our members, it's one of the biggest challenges I think those businesses have. It's a huge cost, right? And if there's anything we can do to help reduce that down without impacting the quality of benefit offering that they currently give, that's great. But we're also talking about going into the 401k plans, right?
Correct.
Doing a multiple employer plan. Probably, we're hoping second quarter of next year, somewhere thereabouts. I think one of the things that we found really attractive about that, when talking with you all, talking with our advisors who are going to be part of that plan, was that in addition to the reducing down those basis fees and reducing down the fees that the shops are going to pay, there's also that reduction of liability, right? And I think there's a lot of shop owners who may offer those benefits now and not actually even realize that there's a liability associated with doing that, that being part of a bigger plan, they could really shift that off.
Totally agree. They definitely don't know that liability is there, or they know the liability is there, but the reality is the business itself takes so much energy and so much time is that you end up coming down. It's December 1st. You got Christmas coming. You have end of the year books. You're trying to make sure all those things get done. This is the last thing you want to worry about.
Right.
And so therefore you just say, oh yeah, if you think it's fine, then let's just sign it away.
Yep.
So they just don't have the time to think about these types of things, and that's what the beauty of this is that they don't have to take as much time.
That kind of all-inclusive, looking at all those different elements. I think the other interesting piece is, our members vary a lot. So I think when we did our survey, we looked at the average business was about 14 eligible employees, right?
Correct.
But the reality is we have a number of collision repair facilities who are independent operators who have 100 plus employees.
Sure.
And when you have that 100 plus employees with the 401k, right, you have to do an annual audit. It could be $10,000 to $15,000, and so even for those bigger employees who may have better basis points, certainly participating in the plans, they're going to avoid the audit fees because the plan's going to take them.
Yeah, well, they don't exactly avoid the audit fees.
Yeah, sure.
They pay a lesser of amount, and it still plays out the same way in retirement as it does that we just talked about in healthcare. Is that they see that savings and then they take that savings and they redeploy it. So if they're giving 4%, they say, I will give 6% to my employees. And again, back to the retention value and making sure that everyone's, because they're families.
Right.
Especially when you're talking about a small business, is that everyone knows each other. It's why they don't need a directory at the end of the day, because they know everyone's cell phone number and they know their kids' names, et cetera.
So should any business ever look at it and go, I'm too big or I'm too small to participate?
No, they really shouldn't. They should at least investigate it.
Yeah.
At worst case. And those that already have healthcare and are larger, they're going to see a bigger savings. So that's the one-time pickup usually of that. And the smaller ones are just doing it because this is a tough jobs market.
Sure.
Everyone's fully employed.
So when we looked at some of the other programs that you're currently managing, that are in kind of similarly situated markets, I guess.
Sure.
What we were seeing was an average savings of somewhere between 10 to 30%. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
In the healthcare,
That's the healthcare side.
Right. Yeah.
Correct.
So I think you had one of your programs that just came up on their 1 year renewal, right? And you saw about a 98% renewal ratio. That's astounding to me, and just validates everything that we had talked about leading up to.
Yeah, not only you've got the retention value that's there because people want to continue these benefits,
right?
And then the second part of that too is that the ease. We always don't talk about that as much. Everybody looks at the cost savings, but the ease of actually renewal. We're able to do this, in a 30-day period for 400 or 500 customers at the same time because of the technology and the way it works today. Is that e-commerce is it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's it's exciting to me that as an association, I think our job is to help impact businesses in a really positive way, right? But when we start looking at projects that can really meaningfully touch people's lives, give them a better standard of life or quality of life, that's as an association, it's something that I think for all of our board of directors, we look at and go, man, if we can do that and do it effectively, there's really no better place that we can be delivering.
No, absolutely, and that's the greatest thing. Decisely, we're a B corporation.
Yep.
We're one of 2,600 companies across the globe that are B certified, and that's our whole belief is that you use the power of business for good. That's what it's all about.
So if you could speak to every one of our members, right, and you were to have a conversation, what would be the one piece of advice you would give them relative to these plans?
Sure. I would tell them to definitely investigate no matter what. And then you've got to provide something to the employees. And so even if it's not the association health plan, it's just contributing $100. It's still something at least.
Sure.
And don't forget about the part-time population as well.
Sure.
Because the part-time population is sometimes they're especially needed because that's how everyone takes vacation on the full-time side. So you want to make sure that they're happy as well.
Very good. Well, listen, we're thrilled to be working with you guys. I'm really excited. It's November now. I think we're going to have some of these options out within the next couple months. First of the year.
It's going to be an exciting 2019.
Oh, I can't wait. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, you guys are great partners. We appreciate it.
Likewise.
All right.
Yeah, excited to see more and do more from there. So we'll catch up soon.
Absolutely. Thank you.